What's going on, you wild monster hunters? It's your Uncle Henry here, and I'm here with Uncle Logan. That man over there, he's hunting Godzilla right as we speak. Watch out behind you, sport!
You can call you can call me Logan Kong.
Hey, Logan Kong. What are you packing underneath there?
Oh man. And finally we get a monster movie back and it's done pretty well. And we have Adam Wingard directing this brand new film that hit HBO Max last Wednesday. So I was pretty excited for this one. One of the few movies coming out in the springtime, and I had a really great time with this film from start to finish. And as you can guess it, the two titans fight one another, Godzilla versus Kong. They duke it out, and there's some really great scenes in this film.
The time has finally come for Godzilla and Kong. They've been on a collision course for several years now. When they established this, universe between these two big titans. Of course, first we got the Godzilla film. I think back in I want to say 2014 with Bryan Cranston, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Elizabeth Olsen in the movie, obviously. But as always, who cares about the human element? We don't really need the human story in these films, and this film, Godzilla versus Kong, brings back some characters from both the Kong movies and the Godzilla movies. And as usual, they're not needed. They're just sort of pushing the story forward. They're trying to explain things, how they're going to meet and everything, but it's not really necessary. But I guess when you got that big budget, you can hire on some big actors. So they did anyways, but it's all about Godzilla versus Kong, and this is what we get with this setup. We finally get these two titans on a collision course, and in this movie they finally come face to face. And for the most part, I loved it. I loved what I saw. It felt like a big video game. To me, it felt like the best CGI available at the moment, and in parts it was great. There are parts that looked too fake to me. But
Yeah.
overall, I was happy with what I saw. I liked how they set everything up, and why these two titans are fighting. And yeah, I liked it for the most part.
Yeah, kind of going back to Godzilla when it came out 2014, Bryan Cranston, Aaron Taylor Johnson. That was like one of the first movies I reviewed professionally. I remember when I lived out in Vegas. So I always remember that movie. I love it. I love Godzilla, the character. I've been a fan since the old Japanese movies. King Kong, hit or miss for me. Most of the movies, I like some of them. But Kong Skull Island was really fantastic. And really, that has to tie in with this film, where Kong is under surveillance by this team of scientists. He's in this huge biodome that looks like Skull Island, and we find out that like he breaks.
Biodome,
Yeah, with Pauly
Pauly
Shore.
Shore and Stephen Baldwin there.
Yeah. But yeah, he's stuck in this biodome. He like throws like a tree through it, and we find out that it's not real. So that kind of sets up his story, and then we also got Godzilla destroying Apex Cybernetics, like a building early on in the film, just going buck wild and burning everything down, and sets up the character Bernie. Brian Tyree Henry plays this like podcaster, conspiracy theorist, and he witnessed this whole thing go down with Godzilla at Apex Cybernetics, and it really sets up his character. And I really liked his character more than anybody in the movie. I thought he was pretty interesting.
Yeah, his felt the most natural, believable character. He kind of, he works at Apex, and he kind of, he does this podcast. It's all conspiracy theory related, and he sees what's going on in Apex and all the, behind the scenes people don't know about, and it's this big evil plot that's going on behind the scenes, and he has a pulse on it, and he puts out a podcast weekly. And the other character, played by Millie Bobby Brown, listens to the podcast. So
Yeah,
it sort of
Madison.
Madison, yeah, Millie Bobby Brown's character Madison listens to the podcast, and so she has she knows what's going on, and she's going to go investigate with her friend there. I don't remember the actor's name, but we've seen him from Deadpool and a couple other movies.
Yeah, the Wilder People, that Taika Waititi movie. His name's Julian Dennison. He's got that thick New Zealand accent, but he's a really good young actor. But he plays Josh, which is like the friend to Madison Russell, which is Millie Bobby Brown, and he goes along for the ride in this movie with his friend Allison and then Bernie. trying to figure out what's going on with Godzilla.
And we on the Kong Skull Island side, it's mainly focused on a couple actors of Alexander Skarsgård. Okay, yes, we've seen him obviously. Eric from True Blood, and then we have Rebecca Hall.
Yeah, Alexander Skarsgård. He plays Nathan Lind in this film. He's like a researcher. He's working along the other character, Rebecca Hall. Yeah, they're working to try to transport Kong across the ocean to find the portal of the subterranean energy source, which sets up kind of the first time these two titans, two monsters, duke it out. A really awesome scene on the ocean because they're transporting this huge gorilla, King Kong. So he's kind of chained down in the boat, and then Godzilla comes out of the water all badass, and they just start beating the shit out of one another. And that was a really great scene.
That was a really epic scene. Yeah, I love that. And I will be rewatching this movie just to fast forward to the main fights between the two because, yeah, like you mentioned, this initial fighting scene, round one, you can call it, between Kong and Godzilla is really awesome. It's in the ocean. We get Kong sort of, he's struggling. He's not used to obviously fighting in the water, and this is Godzilla. This is Godzilla's. He's used to this, so he gets the best of Kong in the water, and we see all these battleships get destroyed. We see Godzilla putting Kong underwater and drowning him and everything, and yeah, it's some really, really cool action scenes. We see fighter pilots and fighter jets coming by and getting smacked out of the air. So yeah, that was an exciting first action scene, and that happens about, I don't know, I'd say 40 minutes into the movie. We finally get to see these titans fight for the first time. Like I mentioned, round one, they fight several times throughout the movie, but this was the first one, and yeah, it was one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Really well done with the CGI, I thought, as well.
Round one, fight. Did it. Yeah,
hell yeah.
It was really set up nicely. But you're saying kind of earlier about the CGI, it's hit or miss in this film. Like that fight scene in the ocean's really well done, but other scenes, like sometimes like close-ups of them, looks really, really fake. It looks like a green screen.
Yeah.
But other times it looks really good. So I don't know why that is. The editing, maybe, but it was hit or miss with the CGI throughout the film. And we got to talk about the young girl Gia. I think that's her name. She is deaf and speaks sign language with Kong throughout the film, which is showing that this creature is really intelligent. It can talk. She has a big part in this film, towards the end too, having to do with Kong. But I thought she was pretty good for a young kid actress. And, looking up to her mother figure as well.
Yeah, she served as the heart of the film, kind of connects you and, can communicate with Kong and is sort of the emotional part of the story. She feels bad for Kong that he's been taken away from his home, and she wants to return. She wants to see him return to his land and find, comfort and not have to fight all the time. So yeah, she does a great job, I thought too. Yeah, she really had some good scenes with Kong, trying to communicate with him, to get him out of danger, and in several instances where she's trying to say that, you don't always have to fight Godzilla. He's not necessarily the enemy. And as we find out in this film, there's another aspect. There's another thing happening with Apex. They're actually constructing something that's going to actually have to bring the two titans to actually work together after they've fought a few times.
Yeah, you're talking about Walter Simmons. He's played by, what is that actor's name? Damien something?
Damien Bashar.
Bashar, there you go. I was way off. Walter Simmons, he's like the head of Apex. The cliche evil villain. His whole intentions to save the world from Godzilla, hence creating Mecha Godzilla. And that's not really a spoiler because he was in the trailer, Mecha Godzilla. But like you said, basically the two monsters have to team up, Godzilla and King Kong, to fight Mecha Godzilla, which sets up kind of the third act of them destroying everything. Which made me laugh at the same time. I'm like, how many millions of people just died? And nothing. But it's monsters beating the shit out of each other. It's like, who cares about those people in Hong Kong? Yeah, in like Florida and then in Hong Kong. It was like just millions of people, buildings destroyed, everything. But it's for a good fight. It was worth it.
Hell yeah. It's well worth it. Well worth all the damage and the whole city's falling and the billions of dollars and the trillions of dollars in human life and everything. It's well worth it when these two titans clash in the city. You see skyscrapers fall. You see King Kong throwing Godzilla into skyscrapers. You just see everything in there. Just ultimate destruction. It's everything you've wanted to see when you thought of King Kong and Godzilla fighting. Yeah, it was super exciting to me. Damien Bichir, the villain, he's super over the top, but I don't really see like what his end goal was there. Like, how did he think this was going to end? Like, I don't understand really. And with the whole Mecha Godzilla, I thought it looked okay, but it wasn't as cool as I was expecting. Really, it was kind of too robotic and looked really fake with CGI, so it didn't work as well as I was hoping. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. But his whole
Yeah.
intention was is stopping Godzilla with his creation being the robot. He would be the hero, and of course it doesn't work out. Yeah, but of course it doesn't work out that way. Mecha Godzilla, I thought was pretty decent. You know, it is what I expected it would be, and it made for a good fight. And I like how they took him out.
Yeah.
You know, the final. I'm not going to say too much, like if one of the monsters die or anything, but really cool final act of the film of them, as you can predict, teaming up to take on Mecha Godzilla.
Overall, it was just fun. There never was like a moment that the film was dragging on for me or anything. I was entertained throughout. I had some minor nitpicks, but overall, it delivered everything I was hoping it would in the film.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything I expected, even what I guessed would happen in the end happened. So, I mean, it wasn't exactly anything surprising, but it gave you what you want, and it sort of set the tone for the rest of the year. It's good to see that this made a splash in the box office overseas and at home. It's good to see some signs of life at the movie theaters again. And thanks to Warner Brothers and reaching this deal with HBO Max, that's cool that we get to enjoy it at home too.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I was very happy with it, and overall, I was happy with what I saw. I am going to give Godzilla versus Kong a 3 out of 5 Mecha Godzilla hair pieces.
Oh yeah, I got to give it up to Adam Wingard, another horror director taking over one of the monster films. Last one being Michael Dougherty with Godzilla King of the Monsters. And that was a mess of a movie. It was so fucking dark and hard to understand and really see what was going on in the film. They really fixed that this time around with Adam Wingard. I love this guy. I loved You're Next. I love the new Blair Witch movie that he put out. He's done a bunch of horror flicks. So going on the opposite side of the spectrum in this huge like Titan film, high budget film, probably the most money he's been given as a director. He really knocked it out of the park with this film. I loved both creatures duking it out. Introduction to Mecha Godzilla. The characters were pretty weak for the most part, but what do you expect with a monster film like this? We're not looking for character development. We just want to see these monsters duke it out and tear shit up. I did like Brian Tyree Henry's character, Bernie, the podcaster, conspiracy theorist, and Millie Bobby Brown was okay. The rest of the cast was pretty forgettable, but again, the monsters were the focal point, and I absolutely love them. Directing was great. CGI was hit or miss. But overall, I was pretty satisfied. I was really looking forward to this film, and probably one of the better films of the year thus far. I enjoyed this more than Justice League Snyder Cut. I'll admit it.
Yeah, it was easier to watch, easier to sit through. It didn't take 4 sittings. I finished it. I finished it in 2, but I would have watched it in 1. But
yeah, I would have watched it in 1. And this is a movie I would definitely go check out in theater in IMAX whenever things kind of clear up here in the suburbs. But it's a film that I want everybody to check out, have a good time with it. Just go in, watch monsters kick some ass, beat the shit out of each other, and have fun with it. With that being said, I really had a great time with this, so I'm going to give Godzilla vs. Kong a 3.5 out of 5 Mecha Godzilla hair pieces.
It was a fun movie. We both had a blast with it. It sounds like 3.5 out of 5. Just that's about as high we're going to give a movie like Godzilla versus Kong. We know what you're going to get. It's a couple titans fighting. It's not high cinema, high art cinema. It's not going to be a brilliant story or an Oscar winner. But like you said, yeah, Adam Wingard did a great job. I thought this for me, I'm going to say was the second best out of. I think I probably liked Godzilla 2014 the best too. That one was awesome. I thought Godzilla was the scariest in that one. Like I actually felt kind of fear when he came in that one. And then I'd probably rank this second, and then Skull Island was third for me too. So I had fun with those. And yeah, the other Godzilla King of the Monsters, like you mentioned, too dark. This one was well lit. You could see everything happening, and it delivered everything that we wanted to for the most part. So yeah, I can't wait for Adam Wingard's next couple films. I think he's attached to direct a live action Thundercats movie, and he is also actively working on a script and hopes to do the sequel to Face Off with Uncle Nick Cage and John
Yeah,
Travolta,
yeah.
which will
Count
be
me
cool
in.
to see.
Count me
Yeah,
in. That's
yeah.
cool. Yeah. He's like one of the better directors that nobody really knows about, like in the horror movie industry. He's been attached to a bunch of stuff. Very innovative, very visionary director, and I think he's doing great things. And his career is going to get bigger and bigger and better and better. You know, the bigger projects that he gets. But yeah, most of the fights in this movie were in the daylight anyway, so you could see it, and it was just. I think that it was shot better too. So they fixed a lot of the issues they had with the last film in this movie. So it's definitely my number two in this like franchise, I guess. Number one being the first Godzilla movie, but this is really fantastic and a fun ride.
And I love seeing Coach Eric Taylor in there.
Clear
Clear
eyes,
eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
boy.
Buddy, meet me at the tavern. We're going to have some Lone Stars. Celebrate East Dillon's victory.
So that being said, hopefully you guys have been keeping an eye on our YouTube channel. Last week we released Falcon Winter Soldier first two episodes review. And I need to watch the newest episode that just premiered on Friday. I'll check that out tonight. And we'll be back next week to talk about episodes 3 and 4. We've also been reviewing the brand new Mighty Ducks series. And we're about to get into episode 2 here shortly. So keep an eye on that on our YouTube channel. And like, subscribe, comment, per usual.
From Skull Island, this has been Uncle Henry and Uncle Logan. We love reviewing Godzilla vs. Kong. May the best Titan win. See you folks next time. Cheers!
Cheers! Godzilla is attacking!